Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a glorious Madikwe Game Reserve in the northwest province of South Africa. The fourth largest game reserve, I believe, at 75,000 hectares. So, really, you never know what is going to happen as you round the corner. But we are off to a great start for Escape to Nature. Good morning, my name is Lauren, and I do have Rian on camera. And we are sitting at the giraffe carcass that we've been sitting at for quite a few days, and it's full. Ugh, it's smelly. I just got a gust of wind in my face there. Delightful. It's not as full as it was. I mean, there were about 10 hyenas when we arrived earlier. The pied crows are really swooping in now, and the jackals think there are only a few. But still, there is life around this carcass. So, of course, this is live and interactive. Please do talk to us. Start a discussion. What do you want to know? Let's chat. That's how we learn from each other, might I add. So if you're watching on the app or the website, make sure you register. That way you can ask questions, send in your comments, and whatever you please, as long as it's nice. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just hit subscribe, hit that bell, and you can subscribe to Wild Earth. It's really warm in the sun today, but we've obviously positioned ourselves in the shade naturally, and the wind is chilly. Jackson, good morning to you too from both of us. And it's awesome to have you here. It's awesome to know that you bumble along with us and listen to us and watch the incredible sightings that we're having. And this giraffe is just... If you look at how far the skin on the back is coming back, the rib cage are really exposed. I actually think a lot more of this giraffe has disappeared than I realized. I mean, there was so many hyenas on it this morning. And they are nocturnal, so they probably fed throughout the night. Jackals have sort of made their little dent, and it's busy. Ah, there's a jackal. They're so tiny, and you just lose them inside. Oh, really, this is just my perfect morning, and the sun is shining. Talking of the sun, let's take a look at the weather. Sun is shining everywhere. Glad to hear that. It's cold in the morning. When I woke up this morning, whoo, we're sliding so fast into winter, it's unbelievable. And my goodness, it warms up. It always warms up nicely in South Africa for the most part. But those mornings and evenings, they get really cold. The coldest I've ever been was at Swallow. I went to visit Davi down there when Wild Earth were broadcasting from there, and whew, Swallow was cold. It was very difficult to get up in the morning. We're not quite at those temperatures yet, but it's chilly. And of course, once it does get that sick, sort of stickly, uncomfortable heat of midday, this carcass will quieten down. Everyone will rest. Everyone will be full by then, we hope, but I mean, hyenas seem to have a endless appetite. What's everyone looking at? I can't see because of the way the car is positioned.
Welcome to Escape to Nature, where I'm coming to you live from the Djuma Dam Camp in the Sabi Sands. My name is Ralph Kirsten, and I'll be manning the two different dam cameras. I do have a little bit of help from the Zoomies. They're helping me here, particularly at Djuma. So it's a nice team effort, and I don't want to take any credit for them. However, it seems like there's been a lot of action this morning on the Sunrise Safari in the Djuma area in particular. where there were lots of wild dogs, there were leopards, and there were also hyenas all around the carcass. I'm not quite sure exact details, but I know that there was a lot of busy activity. And it sounds like even some of the hyenas were after this little baby waterbuck that's in the background here. And it's nice to see that it's survived. This one has been putting up quite a bit of antics. I think it's a male. It keeps mounting its mom, but that's sort of around the dominance displays and so on that they do there. Anyway, it seems like we've got Lauren back, so let's head on over to her. We'll be back with me shortly.
Sorry about earlier, everyone. Look who's just arrived. Aha! The situation really has changed now. Jackals have ran, hyenas are not happy. I don't know where this lioness. Don't know where this lioness has come from. I don't know if she knows there's a carcass here. Wow. Hyenas won't hang around. They are scared of lions. Lions are notorious for killing hyenas. I can't believe how quickly that situation changed. We were positioned the other way to avoid the sun, so I couldn't see what was happening behind us. We had no visual, but I could see everyone staring. And of course, a lioness has appeared.
Emma.
She also looks full. Let me get my binos. There we go. Yeah, she's full. Wow. Mallory, absolutely. And that's sometimes why you should just sit. Just sit in one spot. Sometimes we're all guilty, myself included, of moving, driving, need to go to the next spot, need to find the next thing. It's human nature, but sometimes out here in the wild it is better to just sit. I mean, naturally we have a carcass here, so of course there's going to be action. Look at that hyena with its tail up over here. They're putting their tails up. Two of them. Look at that. Are they going to charge at the lioness? Tail up means dominance in hyenas. These must be the dominance members of the clan. Lioness is obviously not bothered. Oh, they're getting closer.
Yeah, they're not scared. Lion. It's just one female. They're gonna fucking go for it.
Darcy Miller, I really am. It's getting a little bit windy, but I really am. I don't know what these two are hoping for. They've got their tails up though, but they're not. I don't know whether they're trying to intimidate her, which is not working, or... They're looking for backup. These hyenas are looking for backup. They want to chase her away. That's why they keep turning around. It's a numbers game. They want backup. Look at this, there are four. Oh my goodness. Come on, guys, there are 4 of you. You know you've got the upper hand. I can't believe this. She's not even bothering. Wow. Where's she come from? Because she's not been on this giraffe. I've been here for quite a few days now. And there's not been a lion reported on this giraffe. Those 4 hyenas could have chased her. They just didn't. It's amazing how aware of her presence they all were. Hyenas have no longer got the upper hand, yeah. She's full. She's been on a kill and she appeared from... Maybe there's another carcass somewhere. Maybe these 2 bull giraffes were necking and they both died. Who knows? Haley, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I did not expect a lion to appear. We've been here, as I've already mentioned, quite a few days now. This is not sort of our first time at the giraffe. Has this lioness been here the whole time? Has she not? Has she been somewhere further away and she's just walked to get a drink? Again, so many unanswered questions. We don't always have the answers out here. Look at this one. This one's going for it. Look. Why is it running? Tail up. If all 5 of them run after her, they'll chase her away. Tails are up. They're going. Look. There's another hyena coming in from the other side. She's surrounded. In the Masai Mara, you see this. Hyenas chasing off lions, but it is a numbers game. There are about 4 of them close by her. And yet they're just not going to chase her away. Amazing. I think she's gone flat behind that bush. I can't. Yep, she has. She's lying down. Not even bothered that she's surrounded by hyenas. This is crazy. But when hyenas have got their tails up like that, they mean business. It's no joke. I've counted 7 in total. 7 hyenas. Sir 50, absolutely, she's not bothered. I'm sure we've all seen those clips from the Masai Mara where hyenas kill lions. She just chased that hyena. Pied crows are going crazy. There are now 5 hyenas around her. All have they got their tails up? Yeah, tails up. All tails up. She's literally surrounded. Hey, here's another one. Another one's just come in from the right. There are now 6 hyenas around her. Is she really just going to walk away? Fascinating. In all my career, I don't think I've quite had a sighting like this before. All it would take for one hyena to suddenly make the choice to chase, and chaos would ensue. But then the opposite could happen where they all just leave it. If the lioness has gone flat, they'll just leave it. It can go one of two ways here. The tails are still up. And this one's leaving. Lioness is on the move. Where are you gonna go, girl? Just right there. Wow, this is just fascinating. Hyenas everywhere, around every corner. Lioness just relaxing. Giraffe carcass in front of us. Pied crows in the air. Whew. Their tails are up. I'm just surprised they haven't. Surprised they haven't chased her. They're being very cautious. I don't even know where to look or what to concentrate on. Maybe they feel they're dominating the carcass. They don't really need to engage in battle. We've got one having a bath that just does not care at all, really. And then we have two on the carcass and four surrounding the lion. That I can see. I guess she's not really posing as a threat to them at the moment. But the three of them with their tails up over there are very interested. Ah, there's another one. Hyenas everywhere. leaving her. This one, this skinny... this skinny one, I don't know if it's a boy. It does not want to let it go. I don't know what he keeps getting spooked by. Yes, there's a lion. You know this. Jules, I wouldn't say calm, but yes, it's definitely quietened down. When hyenas feed like this, it's definitely not calm, but it's amazing. The lioness just appeared. I don't know where she's come from or why she's here. And she's choosing to just sit there after having a really big drink. But remember, hyenas and lions know each other. They see each other in everyday life. They smell each other. They meet at carcasses. This is not the first time they're meeting. But you just could see it going different ways. It really is a numbers game. If all of these hyenas here charge towards her with their tails up, it could mean danger for her. But they've obviously just decided not to do that. But they're still very interested. She's, I don't know, she's not bothered. She's obviously very full. She's been eating something, and it's not giraffe, or it's not this giraffe. But you know, one lioness means there could be more. She could be on her own, absolutely. Lionesses do venture off on their own, but there could be a whole pride around the corner. I really don't know. Have you noticed the jackals have well and truly disappeared? No jackals hanging around, not even trying to feed. As soon as that lioness showed her face, jackals be gone. Lions will kill hyenas often. Happens a lot. Lions will kill jackals. I saw them all looking. I thought something's up. The jackals have ran and the hyena's body language and behaviors changed. But I couldn't see it, and I really didn't expect to turn around and see a lion. And all the other vehicles have gone home. They've finished their game drive for the day. I mean, it's 10 o'clock. It's quite late in the morning. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you can see them from here, Rhian, but we've got zebra at the waterhole. Are you able to see them? This water hole is getting busy. Zebra, I don't think this is a good idea. This is not the water hole you want to come to for a peaceful morning drink. Mm-mm. The zebras are probably thinking, say what? I just wanted a drink. What are all these hyenas and jackals and lions doing here? We had elephants earlier, zebras now. This. What next? A brown hyena would be good. The lioness is getting up, Brianne. She's moving towards the zebra. She's not in stock mode, but she's moving that way. Oh, zebras have all ran. Poof, gone. They saw her. I can't see from here where she's gone. Let's just sit tight. I think she was maybe just moving. Oh, can you see her? Oh my goodness, sorry Rian, Ah, yes. It's very difficult to see the monitor in this blinding sunlight. Well done, Rian. Look at this naughty one, the one I spoke about earlier, watching her. Right down here, this naughty hyena. He had his tail up moments ago, he's watching her. I think this is a boy. Now do you feel brave that she's gone? I think that's it. I think she's gone. fascinating. Where did she come from? Lions, leopards, cheetah, hyenas will all have kills that we are never found by guides, especially Madikwe. Maybe the Sabi Sands is different, but Madikwe was huge. There would be so much that we miss. And even although the animals wear collars, that's purely for scientific reasons. It's not for finding the animal. So there must be so much that happens out here that is missed. I think she's on a kill somewhere not too far away. The situation just keeps getting more and more mysterious. I don't have many answers. This is my new favorite pan. Pukojwe pan. Pukojwe pan, sorry. It's a W-E at the end. Swan up for jackal. Okay, we're going to sit here. We're going to position in the shade though, and we're going to send you guys over to Amakhala to say good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Very nice warm welcome from the northern parts of Amakhala Game Reserve here in the Eastern Cape on a nice warm sunny morning. Seems like it's really is going to be quite a hot day today, and we're quite looking forward to that. Now we have some Cape Mountain zebra and a lone wildebeest bull over here. Hello, good morning. My name is Andrew and I have Morgan behind the camera over there. We're doing good. We hope you're doing good too. And yeah, we did try and find the 3 male cheetah this morning. Unfortunately, they are out of sight at the moment. They killed something. I think early hours of this morning, maybe even last night. I'm not sure. But they are busy at the moment. Maybe this afternoon we'll get a bit lucky with them. It's quite funny. Just as we arrived there, they ducked under some bushes and we didn't even see them. But we know where they are, and maybe later on we'll give it a go. It's always such a delight to see these Cape Mountain zebra. It's only part of the reserve that you can actually see them is up in the northern parts over here, and fairly close to where we're living. So just on our doorstep we've got wildlife, and every now and then we do see them on the slopes, which is always a pleasure. Now it sounds like lots of action happening this morning. With Trishala having an epic wild dog and hyena interaction and leopard in a tree, and then Lauren out at Madikwe having that giraffe carcass and all that interaction coming there. So pretty cool stuff so far. Shame these animals are nice and warm now. This morning we had a little bit of rain and it was a little bit chilly this morning, but as the day is slowly progressing, it's really picking up now. And these zebra and wildebeest really enjoying it. No, it wasn't too long ago we saw a few foals with this group. Grace, morning. The wildebeest is looking straight at you, saying good morning. And the zebras, they just continue minding their own business. business over there. But yeah, good morning to you. I hope you're good. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I was just saying that there were a few little foals with this little harem over here just a few weeks back. It seems like those 3 male cheetahs have probably caught them, unless this is a different group altogether. One thing I've always loved about the Cape Mountain zebra is how proud they look when they stand. It's actually a very, very strong animal. Although they are smaller than plain zebra, make no mistake that Cape Mountain zebra are incredibly powerful. And if we think of the habitat where they're occurring and how they can climb up mountains, they really need to be quite tough.
It's that time again. Time to update you, our loyal and amazing Wild Earth family, on what is going on behind the scenes here at Wild Earth. Join Andre Crawford Brandt and Emily Wellington in the town hall on Sunday, 23rd April at 7 p.m. Central African Time. And this time, it is open to all our registered users. Wild Earth, it's in your nature.
Now you might even see with these Cape Mountain zebra, their necks are also quite developed, but nothing like the plain zebra. Plain zebras have incredibly well developed necks. But if you have a look there, you can also see that small little dewlap. It's almost like a bit of a collar piece in the front of their throat there. And that's very different to plain zebra. Oh, wildebeest is off on the hoof. You know, sometimes if you really see Cape Mountain zebra well, like we're seeing them now, and you have a chance to look at their ears, the more you see plain zebra, which is a different species, you get used to that sort of shape of ears. But the minute you see Cape Mountain zebra for the first time, it looks totally different to what you've seen in the plain zebra. They're very much rounded ears, satellite dish-like ears. And it makes a lot of sense because in the environment where they live, being, you know, more elevated areas and up mountains, the air is very different up in those areas, and sometimes, you know, you get these strong drafts. So they're going to need to be able to hear in those conditions. Yeah, they're just moving through the grassland now. Angela, thanks for that comment there. That's a cool one. Yeah, it's very impressive bellies. Now with the plain zebra, if you ever get to see them rolling in the dirt or you see them doing that sort of a thing, then you can see how the stripes reticulate, so they connect with plain zebra, and then it almost forms a stripe in itself along the middle of their belly. But now with Cape Mountain zebra and Hartmann Mountain zebra, but they're not found here, the bellies are very white. It all aids them in camouflage in the environment where they're living. You know, plain zebra, they're very vulnerable. They're in the open plains. So some of their stripes do take on this brown appearance. So from a long distance away, they're going to camouflage extremely well, like a brown bush. But with the Cape Mountain zebra, very clean black and white stripes. And that is actually very good camouflage up in the mountains, because most of the time if you're at the bottom of a mountain and you're looking up at the mountain, it's already a long distance away, or quite a distance. And those black and white stripes, it might not seem it, but they blend in so well. If they stand still, you might not even see them. Okay, looks like it's a couple of wildebeest are just running after each other here. There it comes through there. Looks like there was a bit of a territorial argument. One got chased away and ran away. And you see how they run towards the top of the hills. It's so clever, it's so instinctual. It's their second nature is, if there's a problem, run for the hills. And I think that's probably where the saying comes in. If you're ever in trouble and you're fleeing, get higher up. You've got an advantage. Just beautiful here, just basking in the sun, much like some of these animals are doing. It's just amazing how important warmth is out in the bush. Animals really seek it. Okay, it seems like this territorial argument hasn't stopped just yet. Here comes the bull again. It's going to chase him. And off they go. All right, we're going to send you back to Lauren and her giraffe carcass. Let's see what's happening there.
Literally 3 seconds ago, everyone just got up and ran. We're positioned again so that we can't really see. We've positioned ourselves in the shade. Why? There's a hyena running behind as well. But the hyenas are here, Rian. Just here. But they ran from the carcass. Not much will make a hyena run, other than a lion. But there is no lion. I'm looking behind us now. I don't want to position ourselves in the sun because technology is beginning to melt. I'm sure this is a naughty boy and he's making the most of the fact that look, he's a boy, he's a low ranker. Eat. The girls come back, you're in trouble. And although it looks disgusting the way he's eating, he's got to. I'm pretty sure it's a boy. I've had a look, no mammary glands, body shape. I could be wrong. We could always be wrong when it comes to hyenas. But I just think this is a boy and he's on the outskirts. So females that have been dominating as they do. So now he's got his chance and he's just got to eat. But obviously it doesn't look very pleasant to watch that. It makes him look greedy, but actually it's survival if you think about it. And the jackal are back, which means the lion must not be. I don't know what spooked the others. Maybe they heard some sort of vocalization that we didn't. So someone asked in the earlier sunrise drive about control. Who controls who comes to a carcass? And no one controls it. Yes, they are members of the same clan. Didn't catch that name, apologies. But yes, same clan definitely, otherwise it would be war. Clan disputes are, they can get very aggressive, hyenas can die. Definitely members of the same clan, males and females. Different positions in that hierarchy. But definitely all clan members, for sure. And no one controls which hyenas come to a sighting. But those low rankers like this boy here, I think he's got a bit of a scar on his hip. He just needs to wait for his moment, and this is his moment. All the other hyenas ran literally 2 seconds before we went live, and he now knows that I've got to get in there, I've got to eat as much as I can, because as soon as the females and the more dominant ones come back, he's going to get kicked out. We saw some territorial disputes with clans in the Masai Mara. I'm sure it was the North Clan and the Happy Zebra Clan. I'm sure it was. And, oh my goodness, wow. When you see 20 hyenas on one side and 30 on the other fighting, it's surreal. And I mean, the clans in the Masai Mara get so big. I remember diving into the North Clan, which is a really famous clan in the Masai Mara, and Wild Earth were following them for years. And I arrived at the time a matriarch called Waffles was in power, and oh, she was lovely. She was huge. She was an absolute tank, but she was lovely. Such a lovely, lovely hyena, and they knew her lineage. They knew all about her. And in the end, what happened was really fascinating, because it's something that hasn't really been recorded in science before. So instead of her daughter taking the matriarchal position, Instead of there being a takeover, there being aggression like there was in the Juma clan, if any of you were following that, what happened here can only be described as a handover. It was almost like, and I maybe are anthropomorphizing a little bit, but it was almost like Waffles knew her time was up. She was an old hyena. And the North clan's a big clan to manage. Waffles was exactly the same as Ribbon from the Juma clan. She was a low ranker. She fought her way to the top. She challenged the status quo and decided, I'm sick and tired of being at the bottom. I'm sick and tired of not getting good food, not getting good mating opportunities, and just downright being bullied. So she fought, and it's thought that she killed to get to the top. And she was a very well-respected matriarch. But it just appeared that when she realized her time was over, she actually handed the matriarchal position to her granddaughter, not her daughter. She handed it to Soup. Don't ask about the names. That's another story for another day. She handed it to her granddaughter, Soup. And it was almost as if Soup understood and been given this position. And there was very little aggression between the two. And Soup just took over. And you've got to think, wow. What's happening there? Let's break it down. And my interpretation of what happened, using all the experience I have with spotted hyenas, is that if you think of Ribbon, if you know the Juma clan, Ribbon was a low ranker, bullied all her life. When I met Ribbon, Ribbon was skinny, miserable. She was at the very bottom of the clan. Anyway, she seized an opportunity one day and gathered some friends, some social alliances, and fought her way to the top and became the matriarch. I'm not a spotted hyena, sadly, but she became a really good matriarch in my opinion, and the clan thrived. She didn't hold on to that position for long. It was taken back by the original matriarch. It was aggressive, it was a battle, and I wonder if Waffles also intrinsically somehow understood that she's not meant to be at the top. She became the matriarch, but that wasn't the natural progression of things. That was through her determination. So in order for it to stay in her bloodline, she's either going to have to fight for other hyenas who may be showing signs that they want to fight for that position. Maybe she thought, I'm getting old and these young females that are coming in, woof. So how do you sustain your matriarchal lineage? How do you make sure it stays in your bloodline? You give it to your granddaughter, who's strong, in her prime, robust, got offspring, popular maybe. I'm going to explain that in a moment. So still in your bloodline, your family, your genes still rule the clan. Rather than a stranger at some other point in this huge hierarchy, the North clan is 99 hyenas strong now. 99! So rather than female number 67 come in and take the position away from you that's not related to you, give it to your granddaughter. Step down, but it's still your bloodline. And to me, that is remarkable intelligence. That's my interpretation of the situation. Maybe some people would disagree, but it's mind-blowing, and I worked with the hyena researchers up there very closely, and they also agreed the same. So I think that is what happened in the Great Waffles handover. I don't even know what is happening right now. I don't know where the others ran off to. But I do know these are two new hyenas on the carcass now, making the most of it. We've been here now for maybe 3 hours? Maybe more? And the events have been unreal. Gina, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I do tell a lot of stories, so I'm glad you enjoy it. But when it comes to hyenas, I get really passionate. The lapwings are chasing away a hammerkop behind us. You can't see. It's all happening behind the vehicle, but that's what the hyenas are watching. Oh, another one's coming. This sighting just gets better and better. This new hyena came in. We've done a swap. Tail up, chase the other one away. Dominance. You know, if I sat here for maybe a week, I could probably start to piece together little bits of the puzzle depending on how big the clan is. But earlier I mentioned the word popular. And you might think, Lauren, that's completely anthropomorphizing. What are you doing? It does sound like I am. However, there is a paper being released by Kay Holkamp, one of the world's leading researchers on spotted hyenas. She's an amazing lady from the Masai Mara. And she actually released a paper on hyenas and their social alliances. And one of the articles that describes the papers so well is titled the following: Hyenas probably have more friends than you. I love it. That is probably so true. Anyway, it's all about friendships. And I use the word friendships very loosely because it's very much a human term. However, hyenas have been proven, spotted hyenas, sorry, I should be clarifying that social alliances can improve your rank, your place, your position in the proverbial ladder, and your fitness. Because the more higher up the ladder you go, the more benefits you get mating-wise and food-wise, so your fitness and your reproductive fitness increases. So it actually shows that there are so many social dynamics and social relationships happening in hyenas that they do gather social alliances, and that is exactly how Waffles, matriarch queen of the Masai Mara, overtook the position. Coming from the bottom to the top, she gathered friends. She gathered a girl army. If a female can gather an army, then you can do anything. Now, Ribbon from the Juma clan, sorry if I'm confusing you, just another matriarch, did gather an army. But she did something completely different. She did something that was very unexpected and hasn't been recorded. Ribbon gathered an army, but it appeared she gathered an army of boys. There are not many girls in the Juma clan. There are 5, or there were 5 at the time, 5 adults. Ribbon was stuck. How do you get to the top? The opportunity's there, but I need an army. Well, you know what? Let's go with the boys. So strong bonds in hyenas will bring you great social status. And I'm going to give another example. Apologies if you don't know the Juma clan, but it's an example that will stick with me forever because I knew these hyenas from when they were cubs. I feel like I grew up with them. There was a pair of hyenas, brothers and sisters, sister and sister. I will forever get that wrong. Sister and sister, Swazi and Ndebele. Their mother, Pretty, was one of my favorite hyenas. She was gorgeous. She was very dominant, and her mother was a matriarch, so you would assume that Pretty would become the matriarch, but she actually didn't. But she was still very, very high ranked. And she was bless you, Rian, she was best friends with a hyena called Corky. Now, Corky was the matriarch. Their friendship was unbelievably tight. It was visible. They were BFFs. Sadly, Pretty died. I was the last person to see Pretty. We don't quite know what happened, but she wasn't well when she died, and she chose to die right next to our camp in Djuma. So Swazi and Ndebele were on their own. They were a bit lost. Swazi moved into our camp, and many stories to tell you about Swazi. But Corky, their mother's best friend, always looked after them. Always looked after them, and they sort of resumed the friendship, if you like. They continued the friendship with their mother's best friend. And they assumed their mother's high rank. So the three of them became quite a force to be reckoned with. Even although the mother was no longer alive, the mother's best friend looked after them. And still does to this day. It may sound very fairy tale-like and, what is Lauren talking about? But really, hyenas form friendships and you can watch them. You can see hyenas in a clan that are in the clan together but they don't get on. There's no relationship there. But you can also see hyenas that are in the clan together but do get on. I don't know what they're looking at, honestly. I don't know if they're just cautious that the lion was here earlier, if they're hearing something. Brandy, 1,000% they're misunderstood. And I get it, look at them. They're digging into a giraffe. They're not at their best. They've got dirty bottoms and they're not looking their best. I get it. But they're so misunderstood. And when you really dig into their social structures, it is so intricate and so complex that we don't even fully understand their social structure. And for me, that's why I'm so attracted to them. They are remarkable animals. There's no other animal that can compare to them, really, with their extremely strange genitalia. Let's face it. It's weird. It's totally weird. It's wacky. And then their social structure, which is so deeply complex. And all of these papers are relatively new. I'm pretty sure they're from 2019 and 2020. There's a lot of new science coming out about spotted hyenas all the time. What does that tell you? It tells you that we don't know enough. I would give anything if I could be sponsored to just sit and document and watch and film a clan of hyenas. Make a documentary and just tell the world exactly how amazing they are. And being up in the Masai Mara was hard work. We had a studio where we used to broadcast from, and I got given one of the walls to just map out the clan. That was very hard. I had the whole wall. I had to try and memorize all these hyenas and their relationships and who's related to who and who's friends with who. But the story of the Masai Mara and Waffles I will never forget. And Ribbon is just as legendary. Maybe this happens all the time. Maybe takeovers and handovers happen all the time. It's just not been recorded. Maybe it is the norm. But as far as we're away, it's not the norm. And these two hyenas that I've had the pleasure of knowing are absolute legends. Waffles has passed now, which is terribly sad. But her legacy lives on, and Ribbon is still with us. I just wish people didn't hate them so much. And sometimes when I tell people, hyenas are my favorite animal, they go, what? And they just pull this really disgusted face at you. They're just amazing. I would say they have one of the most complex social structure. Wild dogs have a great social structure. I love it, but it's not that complex. Of course, there will be complexities, but it's not as complex as a spotted hyena. Lions, not that complex. Brown hyenas, again, not complex. The spotties, extremely complicated. Calvin, absolutely. They love a good wallow. They don't do the roly-polies like the Dagger boys, but yeah, they wallow. They've been wallowing all morning. They love water. So they go in the water, and they will often go in really muddy parts of the water and just wallow. I actually love how much they love water. I'm such a water baby myself. And they're just very comfortable in water. If you consider the fact that they're very strong, robust, rotund, not so elegant animals, they just love the water. So yes, they will often wallow in mud as well. Any muddy part, oh goodness, the drama continues. He's walking away though. Well done, Rian. We're looking at everything from the back of the vehicle. MC feel like they're watching The Lion King reenacted here at Madikwe. I can assure you, this is real. The Lion King is fantastic. That is based on real ideas. Yes, it's not all accurate, but the concept of teaching children is fantastic. I watched a remake and I was blown away. I actually got really emotional at it. Yeah, I cried. It's very, very well done. Yes, there's a few questionable elements, but all in all, it's fantastic. And I promise this is not scripted. This just... It's because it's at a water hole. There we go, Calvin. Having a good bum wallow there. Wallowing mostly refers to mud, but she's lying on a lot of mud. Face planting into the water to cool her face down. Oh, we are doing a roly-poly. That's lovely. Calvin, she heard you. There you go. She's showing off.
We hope that when you watch Wild Earth, you will fall in love with nature. We know that our explorers share a passion for nature and want to make a difference. Wild Earth Schools is back. Sign up to be an explorer and your subscription will help us reach the future conservationists of our planet. Invest in something that truly matters, encouraging children to care for our beautiful wild Earth. Wild Earth Explorers, make a difference.
there's a really nice but quite strong breeze that's picked up. You'll probably be able to hear it, but that's just the weather today. I'm grateful for it. And we are upwind, I think. Well, I'm not getting hit in the face with that awful stench, so we must be. Hyenas are adorable, but they can be very smelly. I've sat at enough dens to vouch for that. They're very aware of which direction a lioness walked in. You see that? They keep scanning. They know exactly where she went, and they keep looking just to make sure she's not back again. And she's not. But they're constantly scanning. Catherine, that's so lovely to hear. Your love for hyenas started years ago when you went on a safari in the Masai Mara. That is lovely to hear. I think only when you spend time with them, whether it's through Wild Earth or whether it's on safari, that you really realize they're not these big monsters. They're not. They're nothing like the hyenas in The Lion King, and they're not hermaphroditic self-eating devourers of the dead, or whatever Hemingway said. And they're not going to come and take your face off. They don't dig up graves. They really are incredible. And I think you need to spend time with them to realize that. And it's such a shame that the media and movies and Hollywood, Walt Disney and all of these things can make people feel that way. The media has a lot of power in our world, and it's very scary. And we've been told since we were young, oh, hyenas are bad, oh, they're dirty, oh, they're evil, they're going to bite your face, and all of these things. So children like myself grow up thinking that. Of course we do. We watched Walt Disney at a young age. And the hyenas were horrible. They were horrible on Walt Disney. And I think that perception needs to change. Yeah, you don't have to like them. If you don't like them, you don't like them. That's absolutely fine. But we shouldn't have these perception that they're evil, bad animals. They're fantastic. No animal is evil. No animal is bad. Not even a mosquito. Even the most poisonous, even the most venomous, they're not bad. They're not evil. And we were warped to think the wrong thing about hyenas, that's for sure. But we're going to sit tight for longer, and I believe Andrew is having some elephants walk by.
Thanks, Lauren. Definitely agree with you. Hyenas are definitely underrated. Here we have some elephants that are right in the middle of the road, walking sort of towards us. But there's a game trail that some of them have taken. You should see this young one take that game trail now. So we've got to be a little bit careful because they're all scattered around us. Some of them are in the thicket, some of them are ahead of us, and then some of them are also on the other side of us. So we're just going to make sure that we don't get trapped here, because it's a very tricky environment to work in. Beautiful. Look at this. Yeah. Just owning the road, isn't it? So I can hear lots and lots of branches breaking around us, almost like an amphitheater here. So they're definitely feeding, but also we've noticed that they're walking very quickly. They've just had water at one of the lodges, and now they've gone back into the thicket. They want to eat. So let's see what's going to happen here. We might just need to reverse, but we're just going to wait and see. Okay, I'm just going to start up and reverse. Okay, I think I can see some others. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna just turn the vehicle here. Oh my goodness, this is incredible. Okay, Morgan, I'm just gonna need to reverse back onto the road here. Just. Okay, I think we're good, Morgan. Oh, that didn't sound good, but there we go. Look at the baby there. We actually saw the baby running on the road earlier on, bouncing around, being all clumsy and all. This is amazing. Ah, thanks, Morgan. So we've got two Morgans on shift this morning. We have Morgan the director and Morgan the cameraman who's behind me. And Morgan the director just said this is insane and she loves the colorations of them. Yeah, so they've just been in the water. Ah, there, I just made the boo-boo again. That's Jordan. Every time. Sorry about that, my bad, Jordan. Oh, here comes a big bull at the back there. Oh my goodness, he's huge. Okay, so I just need to straighten up here, Morgan, just in case. Sorry about this, everyone. We just need to make sure we're in a safe position. Should that do, Morgan? Okay, well, let's just try it. So we do have a game truck on the sighting with us. How's that, Morgan? Okay, so they're just moving through the thicket there. So it seems like there's a few day safaris that are active this late morning. So one of them is on the sighting with us now. Look at this, incredible sighting this. Yeah, look at this, this is so cool. Okay, I just want to go forward a little bit. There we go. Much better. This is a good spot to be in. Oh, look at that elephant scratching his ear there. Vicky, you're 100% right there. They disappeared just like that. Wow. But they know the environment so well. And for a big animal like elephants, I mean, they can push the branches out the way. They're very tough in that sense. So these dune thickets just goes to show how really it is really good for them. There's a lot of food in here. This is their option to hide away in the bush when it's cold or if it's too hot. There we go. Look how much bigger he is to everyone else. Oh, this one's in reverse gear now, reversing out. And there we go, just gently moving through. What an incredible sighting. I had no idea we were going to be embraced with that this morning. And that's the thing about going on safari, you just never know what's going to happen. So as we're just sitting here, we can hear this sound. So they're definitely communicating with one another. So obviously they've just come from the water. So now they're sort of planning the route where they're going to go into the dune thicket. And I should imagine they'll probably land up closer to maybe even Bush Lodge later on this evening, which will be quite nice for the guests that are out there. Now water is scarce at the moment, so where they would normally get water, there is none. So they have to go in front of the lodges, unfortunately, just until such time as it rains, rivers fill up and dams and pans all get to the capacity it needs to be, then things will change. Okay. So we just have a game vehicle that needs to pass us, yeah? Cheers, man. Cha-cha. Oh, that didn't sound good. Okay, let's try go a little bit ahead and see what it's like there. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough from here. We might just get lucky ahead here. Aha, here's it. Look how big this bull is. Gee, he is ginormous. Okay, so we already know that there's two calves in this group, but when I look at this big bull over here, it looks like Corley. He's definitely and by far the most dominant bull here on Amakhala Game Reserve, and as you can see, he's ginormous. But as we've been watching him, he's been sticking very close with the females at the moment, so I'm not sure if he's already isolated one and has already picked up that there's a female he can breed with. I think that might be the case. And he's really socializing right next to them. And they're very accepting of him right now because now the mothers have taken the calves away. So sort of he's preoccupied with females that he might be able to breed with. So theoretically he shouldn't go too close to the calves because the mothers will just take them away. But I often wonder what a baby elephant thinks to itself when it sees a great ginormous bull like this, that one day I'm going to be big like him. He's massive compared to them, weighing almost 5.5 tons, I would imagine. Whereas some baby elephants, they're only born at 100 kilograms. It does vary between 70 and 100. But believe it or not, Corley is not the biggest elephant in Africa. I mean, in East Africa, some of those bulls are humongous. In Botswana as well, I believe some bulls up there have recorded 7 tons, 8 tons up there. Can you imagine? But he is impressive, nevertheless. Okay, he's just gone behind the little thicket there. We can still see a couple down there. Morning, Harry. I would maybe think that they're more or less the same size. Morgan, you know better on that one. What do you think?
Not sure.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think they're more or less the same size, but you will get exceptions because I know Pridelands has seen some really, really big individual bulls up there. So I would imagine it's more or less the same. But it's all got to do with vegetation. Out here, elephants, they're eating much different things to what they're eating up north. So being a lot of sourveld out here in the Eastern Cape, it means that they're going to need to really find other things to eat as well. So aloes, and they're going to eat a lot of roots. Debarking, we're seeing a lot of debarked trees at the moment. Just amazing how you just see the tops of their backs, yet some of them are so big. I've always respected that about elephant. They can be secretive if they wanted to. If an elephant wakes up in the morning and says, I don't want to be seen today, I mean, the chances of you actually finding that elephant is very slim. They're very smart animals. They know the reserve very, very well. It's also quite interesting how versatile elephants are in their habitats. So versatile. I'm sure some of you have heard of Knysna forest elephants that are roaming around in really thick forest-like environments. And so thick that they went for years and years and years without anybody even seeing them, not even the dungs. I'm not sure what's going on out there now. I don't know if they've managed to get some photographs or they've had sightings. I don't know, but I know that the sightings over the years were incredibly scarce. Then you get mountainous elephants as well. You get desert elephant. And he's disappearing now, just gone behind the bush. Oh, they are busy this morning because you can just hear them really feeding. Sometimes you don't even hear elephants when they're walking, even through some of the environments here in Amakhala, you don't hear them tiptoeing around. Definitely one of the quietest walking animals I've ever met, given their size. And we'll just take a look at this beautiful environment while we're here. Bask in some of the sunlight. They are in the thicket now. I think if we had to start and drive around, we're just going to find them in the thicket. So we'll just stick it out over here. Oh, I can hear a southern boo-boo calling inside. Myself and Morgan have seen several secretary bird couples walking around the reserve in different locations as well. Just lovely here. So they predicted actually today was going to be around 30 something degrees, or was it 29 degrees they said. And it's definitely getting on that way. And we're not even at midday yet, and just feeling the sun on the clothes and on the skin. Oh man, it's really, really nice. And you can imagine, oh, what you got. Oh, bees. Bees everywhere here. And they're gone now. Just a huge swarm of bees just flew over us. Not sure if you heard that. So it's just migrating bees. They're moving from one point to another. It's not like the elephants have disturbed a hive or anything like that. Otherwise, you would hear it. Because elephants do get stung, believe it or not, by bees sometimes. And they will scream blue murder when they're being stung. You can believe it. Okay, I think let's head off to Djuma. Let's see what's going on in that part of the world while we try and see if we can see these elephants again.
Well, it seems like there's been quite a bit of action there from Lauren with her giraffe carcass and those hyenas, and the lion that came to visit, to Andrew with his elephants on Amakala. It's wonderful. Well, I'm here at the Djuma Dam camp and just enjoying the company of this lovely bull, Waterbuck. And what is he doing? He's ruminating. Very important part of the digestive process and their day. They need to spend a lot of time doing exactly what this particular bull is doing right now. And it's a real big part of the digestive process, because ruminants and herbivores that chew their cud, it's in a big part for them to digest the cellulose or to break it down, but they can't digest cellulose by themselves. And in fact, there's a host, an enormous number of microscopic creatures that do the job for them. And these symbiotic microorganisms, comprising of single-celled bacteria and protozoans, live in a ruminant's stomach, where they produce and use cellulase to break down cellulose. And so it's thoroughly mixed with saliva, as we're seeing here. It's going to be chewing the vegetation in its mouth and mixing it with saliva. And then it's mechanically mashed and by the repeated side-to-side grinding between the massive specialized molar teeth. And then they swallow it, and it passes into the rumen, which is the first and largest of the number of chambers in the stomach. And in this huge fermentation vat, the microorganisms, which occur in densities of hundreds of thousands per milliliter of rumen material and juice, break down the cellulose into short-chain fatty acids that can be absorbed by the host animal. So it's quite a process, and very important for them to do that, because cellulose is insoluble and extremely resistant to attack by enzymes. And in any event, most animals, including all vertebrates, do not possess cellulases, or the enzymes which break down cellulose into its valuable glucose units. And yet, ironically, the breakdown products of cellulose constitute the essential nutritional components of a herbivore's diet. So there's a whole lot of symbiotic relationships going on within one single than we really realize. And that goes across into us as well. All of the different microorganisms and bacteria in our stomachs that assist with digestion. And anything that we can't particularly digest, we need the assistance of these particular microorganisms to break it down for us. And very often, you wouldn't be able to survive one without the other. So in wildlife, you wouldn't have waterbuck without those particular microorganisms, and it's probably evolved to the point where you won't have those particular microorganisms survive anywhere else but within a waterbuck. So it's a lot more intricate than we realize, and it's only when we get sick and we get antibiotics and so on, and we realize how much we really need those microorganisms in our stomach, that we need to replace everything by probiotics and yogurt and getting live cultures back into ourselves. Because the majority of the microorganisms in our stomach are normally positive, but we need to kill all of them, or a large part of them, when we get sick. So it's the replacement that's important. But obviously, with wildlife, they don't have the benefits of modern medicine, and it's important for them to maintain that healthy balance with those microorganisms within the stomach, in order for them to survive, literally, from the first phases of getting their food and the nutrition that they're going to derive from it. But very interesting that they can't digest cellulose on their own, and they actually need those microorganisms to break it down for them. Now, this little youngster is the one I was talking about earlier, and just happy that he has, I'm assuming it's a he, just because of the behavior that he's portraying towards its mother in that kind of dominant way of mounting her. And it does seem like, I would assume, that it is indeed a male. And I think he's already getting a little bit of testosterone, but which is good. You'll probably start to see the formation of his horns pretty soon, if I'm right. But he's been able to evade the attention of hyena this morning. So I'm just happy that he's still around. That's a good little battle to have won, because that'll put him in good stead. The next time they go for him, he'll be that much sharper and that much wiser. So if he didn't go down on the first attack, well, every time that happens, he'll be stronger, better, cleverer, more witty in those particular situations. So good on you, little one. Well done. Now, it was interesting listening to Lauren's take on hyenas and the way that they're portrayed. I have a little bit of a different take on it. I think that hyena are indeed dirty, nasty, crazy animals. But I must say that so are lions, so are jackals, so are civets, so are so many of the other animals. And they scavenge off each other, they murder each other. It's just, it's all part of that essential circle of life. We like to soften things because we get emotional about it, but we must understand that animals, yes, they do have emotions, but they're a lot less emotional than we are. And they don't have newspapers, they don't have the social sort of connection that we have to express our opinion. And so for them, it is just clearly a case of survival. And whichever way that is required in your particular circumstance, you need to get on with it. And you see sort of different scenarios or different behaviors of predators within different environments, from the nice, lush, the eastern savanna to the deserts. And in some parts, lions are bigger scavengers than hyenas. Hyenas land up being the apex predator in some parts of the northwestern wildernesses of Namibia. And lions then scavenge off. They become the sort of dirty villain, if I can say that, in those parts, because they're the ones, chasing the hyenas around, trying to get food off them. And position, it's almost like they are the Mufasa of the desert to the hyena. And the lions then taking up the role of the hyenas and being quite dirty scavengers, as we would portray them to be. But as I say, it all just comes back to what you need to do to survive in a particular circumstance or in a particular graphic, wherever you may find yourself as an animal out there in the bush, in the wilderness, and not having opinion about. It's purely getting water, getting food, and whatever way that is required, you're going to get on and do it. So, yes, I don't say that hyenas are this kind of portrayal that we have put onto them in the likes of the Lion King. In that way, we then form an opinion of them, an opinion that they don't care about. But it does sort of portray them then as the overall villain, where I believe that there's villains within every single ecosystem and any different scenarios that we come across. So, here in Djuma, it might be wild dogs that are the villains, accompanied with the hyena. But the lions, I tell you what, they can also be the villains as well here, just with such a high concentration of predators. I prefer not to soften opinions of different animals. In fact, I like to harden it a little bit more, because when we do see animals then get attacked and killed and ripped apart, it's more understandable when we already expect that from these kind of animals. And that's the reality. So instead of us diverting from the reality, let's embrace it and let's talk about exactly how these animals are in the bush, and not sugarcoating it. So that's my preference. I don't say that Lauren is wrong. I just say that from my particular point of view and my opinion, which we're talking about, that is the way I like to youngsters as well as old guests alike.
On April 27th, Wild Earth will be celebrating a very special birthday. It's our Sweet 16. We want to celebrate you, our viewers who have been with us every step of the way.
I just appreciate you so much.
Send in your birthday wishes so we can include you in the celebrations.
Happy birthday, Wild Earth!
Video yourself saying happy birthday to Wild Earth with a short note and share them with us on Birthday at Wild Earth.
And it does seem like these three, I think it's three of them. It's just one bull, a female, and this youngster. I think there might be another female, maybe. But they seem to be hanging around here next to the Gowrie Dam or Djuma waterhole, and well, at least keeping us company next to the dam cam. Lots and lots of grass, excellent growth. So the rainfall has been superb this year, and I think it does hold all the animals in good stead going into winter as it slowly approaches. And the days are cooling off. The grass still relatively green, although we're going to start to see that browning as the weeks and months continue to roll on by. But I think that it does bode well for the Djuma area, because good grazing around, it means that the animals won't need to move off to areas to find good feed when there would potentially be more rainfall on the particular. And so that will also mean that there'll be lots of predators that could hang around as well, from the spotted hyenas, wild dogs, lions, and of course all of our wonderful leopards. And they'll have lots of food then as a result. So it does bode well for good sightings. if I can say that. And it does seem like mommy is a little bit more on her toes, which is understandable because of what's happened apparently earlier this morning. And she does seem to have a little bit of attention off up the road there. We'll just watch her and continue to observe her behavior because she'll indicate to us if there's anything that we need to also look at. Mandy, yeah, thank you. It's it's all our different opinions and so on, but it's for me, it's we shouldn't sugarcoat too much. I do it with my kids all the time as well. Yes, initially it's hard to fathom how animals can kill other animals just to eat, but it's a fact of life that we need to show and we need to tell, because otherwise, if eventually they realize this, then it might be, they might think of it quite a lot differently than if we, roll it out from the beginning. So I prefer to do that. And as a result, they seem to have a better understanding of it. It doesn't mean that they like it, but you don't need to like facts. They remain. So we should be telling them as it is. Now, I think this female definitely spotted something. We'll just wait a little bit longer just to see. And normally if they start approaching like that as well, it might mean indeed that she has spotted something moving in down towards the water. So we'll just zoom out slowly and follow on. What could it be? Seems like the youngster quite nervous. I'm sure that's after his little encounter this morning. Let's just see now. What has she spotted? Quite difficult sometimes to see in the brush. And they can often spot things that we really struggle to see. So Dylan, just I can't tell for sure, but just the way that it was hanging back from its mom, I think it is starting to realize, I would imagine, from a little bit of experience being around the adults and having been around predators now as well, the kind of reaction that they have when they see predators. And then now it's experienced it, so you can see it's not right at mommy's side, it's hanging back a little bit. And I think she has spotted something. We've just got to try and see what she has spotted. Not always easy. And the way that she moved forward like that as well, you often see prey animals, when they spot a predator, they prefer to be able to see it, sometimes move towards it, and then keep their eyes on it. So very often you see animals doing that. You would, often think, why are you going towards it? But it's just to keep eye contact, because if they lose eye contact, then it could be, ambushing them, coming up from the side or something like that. And so they want to try and avoid that. You can just imagine the fight for survival here. It's touch and go. Every day you could become food. So you've got to be on your toes, quite literally. She keeps on looking down on the dam wall. So we'll just have to keep watching her. I think there's a bird running across the road. Looked like a Meave starling, maybe, or a mongoose. What is that? Something running along the ground there. I think it's just birds. She seems to have calmed down a little bit, but I'm not quite sure. Has she? Maybe not. See the youngster moving with her. I think you can feel her anxiousness. Definitely tell by her body language that she is concerned. She could be a little bit more paranoid than usual because of what's happened earlier this morning, but it pays to be paranoid out in these parts with all the predators that do abound. What is it that you see that we can't? Can be tricky. I wonder if she's looking a little bit further than we realize. You'll often see with predators as well, as soon as one of the animals has clocked them and seen them, then an alarm calls. They very often try and hide and run away. They don't want to give away themselves, because once there's one alarm call, then all the animals start looking in that direction, and then the game is up for whatever predator may be around. We have had leopards around here regularly, so it could be them. There were spotted hyenas around as well as wild dogs, so whether it's one of those, potentially. Still looking in that direction. That says to me there was something there, or is something still there. It's amazing how many times I've had the animals show me where the predators are. I must say, the majority of predators that I've found has been a result of the other animals, either alarm calling or, yeah, there are little dwarf mongoose also running through the brush there at the bottom. But it's generally the other animals that indicate to me, especially monkeys, kudus, bushbuck, nyala, excellent predator indicators. Yeah, lots of little dwarf mongoose running through the brush there. I'm not sure she would have been concerned about them, but you never know. She may just be, as I say, a little bit overly paranoid this morning. Keep looking for spots. When you're looking for a leopard, everything looks like a leopard. I see a bit of movement in the water. I don't know if that was one of the hippos that has just gone back in the water, or moving back towards the middle, or if it's a terrapin, something there in the water. Quite a bit of wind around as well. If she's put her head back down, I think there's not too much to worry about. Good on you, girl. You can't be too careful, that's for sure. But I was hoping that there might be something around. Not that they wanted to chase you. Maybe just come down for a drink. It would be nice to see some predators here at the waterhole. But I'm not hoping for anybody to grab one of your little youngster. Not at all. Righty. So, sitting, watching, waiting, and hoping for some predators. And while we watch and wait and hope, let's send you to Lauren, who was with some.
Ah, it is not changed on this side. Still very active. Why is everyone running away now? Look at the jackals, they look so confused. Literally, all the hyenas were just there moments ago. I don't know where the hyenas have gone now. But of course, it's still active with the jackals. The wind is getting quite strong. But I'm naturally not complaining because it keeps us nice and cool in the vehicle. I don't know why or where the hyenas ran off to. Have no answers, I'm afraid. And remember, this is a lot of predators. You don't think jackals are predators, but they are. They do hunt other animals. And any animal that hunts another is a predator. Yes, they scavenge too, but they are predators. And we're surrounded by a lot of them in the form of hyenas, jackals, this is just the mammals, the lioness. Aha! I don't know if Rianne's going to be able to get that. Probably not, but we have a vulture. Yes! I saw the shadow. Where are you going to land? Really far out of sight. Okay, we're not going to be able to give you a view, but that's good news. The vultures are in town. They're here. They were maybe even on the carcass that the lioness just came from. Did you see that jackal just skip over the carcass? So there's obviously a lot of activity happening in the area, some that we know about, some that we don't. Maybe that's where the vultures are. But there was a whiteback flying overhead. And for those of you that know me, I don't have to say this, but for those of you who don't, I love vultures. I actually love all the animals we have on screen right now, including the giraffe. What spooked you guys? It's really not much that spooks a hyena. In aid of our very special Earth Month, everyone, that we are celebrating for Earth Day, we're making our own Earth Week and our Earth Month. We do have Quizmania Round 5 starting. This will be for the first 2 hours of the Sunset Safari on Saturday and Sunday. So that will be this afternoon. So make sure you join. Gotta love a quiz, especially when it gets competitive. Ilana, absolutely. I'm just watching one in front of us who's got a really upset tummy. Let's not look at that one. I was distracted there. Very upset tummy. And this one has the right idea. They love the water, honestly. I love to see them in the water because just like elephants, you can really see how much they enjoy it. They just look so comfortable in the water. Look at this one. She looks massive. Spotted seals strike again. And they'll lie in water for long periods of time. They're just very comfortable in it. Where you wouldn't find a lion or a leopard doing that. It's just different behaviors. Just the way her front legs are positioned, she looks like she has massive biceps. I love the way they just jump over it, as if it's... One of them just got really spooked in the water there. Maybe a fish swam by or something tickled it, but they're spooked. Look at them. I'm just trying to keep my eyes on every hyena and figure out what is going on. There's so much going on around here. Maybe it's the fact that the lion's in the area, I don't know. Cameron! Depends what you mean by a serious fight. I think any fight is serious, but I think you can see no. If the hyena was acting really aggressive, which it may do if the carcass was smaller. If it was a an impala. The hyena would want to claim it all for itself. And in that regard, it could be quite aggressive towards the jackal, really chasing them away, really showing teeth, vocalizing, and literally chasing them. But here, there's just no point. There's so much meat to go around. This carcass is huge that they're just tolerating them. But would there be a serious fight? I don't think so. The jackals know when to run, and the hyenas know that they're much bigger and stronger than the jackals. There's not really much of a competition there. The jackals are more than aware of their position in this hierarchy. So I don't think so. But a hyena could easily snap at a jackal and could kill it. That's possible, but I just don't see it happening. Oh, we've got an elephant to our right. I don't have a visual right now, Rianne, don't worry. I just need to keep my eye on him in case he gets upset that there's a whole host of predators here. The water body's getting busy. I have to say, this might be my favourite day of the entire stint at Madikwe. I'm still here for another bit yet, but this just been incredible. Completely unexpected as well. I mean, I sat at that other giraffe carcass in a completely different part of the reserve, more central, and nothing. We had one hyena for about 5 minutes and that was it. Only jackal. So I think the animals here are so well fed. There's such a high population of so many different species, and Madikwe is so vast that I think it needs to happen near a clan's, within a clan's territory. It has to happen where the clan will come across it. Otherwise, carcasses will just be inactive. Rambo I have, and it's a little bit sad for me to talk about. I love Madikwe, but it also brings a lot of heartache because Javi and I went to a cheetah kill, and the cheetah had killed, and it was sitting on an impala, and we were just with the cheetah watching it, and all of a sudden a spotted hyena came and ran and grabbed the head. And at that exact moment, a brown hyena came and grabbed the body, and they both had tug of war over this impala as the cheetah watched. Yes, we didn't have signal. But that's just a topic for another day. And it was incredible watching the two of them, to see the size comparison, the strength, and they were both one-on-one pulling at the same carcass. It was unbelievable. So yes, that's competition. But generally, the brownies do tend to avoid the spotties. Why? Spotties are aggressive. They're huge. They are really big animals. I mean, look at the jackal. The jackal's probably just a little bit smaller than my staffy, my blue staffy at home, they're tiny. And hyenas just have a lot of muscle, a lot of aggression, I think I said that, and a really powerful bite force. So brownies can't compete with that. They're not as big. They've got long legs, they look taller, but they're not as big. They do not have anywhere near as much muscle mass. Look at these two. Why do you need to drink right next to the hyena, little jackal? I mean... And they're never as numerous. I mean, look at this, the clan. I've tried to pick out individuals. I've tried to use my hyena skills and guess how many individuals we're looking at. I think over the whole course of today, we've looked at least 15 different individuals. Come and go. Now, that's a lot. So I think this clan is pretty big, and brown hyenas don't really operate like that. They will den and sleep in social units, but you won't really find many of them on a carcass. Not really. So they're always outnumbered, and to see a brown hyena and a spotted hyena on a carcass is pretty special. Normally the brownies wait until the spotties have moved off. They're not friends. Just because they're part of the same family, just like lions and leopards, they are not friends. The jackal and hyena are also not friends here. They're literally just tolerating one another. They're not really a threat to one another at this carcass. And look how far back the skin is receding. The ribs are totally exposed. There's not going to be much left. I wonder if we might be lucky with the brownie in the next few days. I'll keep coming up here. It's a bit of a journey, but we'll come. It's been worth it, that's for sure. Patience pays off, people. And just another reminder, everyone, tonight at 7 o'clock Central African time is our town hall. And it will be with our current CEO, Andre, and our co-founder, beautiful Emily. So the two of them will be giving a town hall, and it's open to everyone. So please tune in. Again, it's tonight at 7 o'clock Central African time. So I know that the UK are 1 hour behind, but all the other countries, I have no idea. So make sure that you do check your own time zone. It's been such a special day. It's actually my 4-year anniversary with Davy, so it's a very special day. 23rd of April. The hyenas came out in full force for this one. You just look so comfy. I feel like you're going to fall asleep in the... Oh no. We're not going to allow ourselves to relax too much. There was a lioness. Inga, I know. The carcass is really disappearing. If you have been watching yesterday and the day before that, it's really disappearing. Hyenas are remarkable. Obviously, the jackals are helping, but it's really the hyenas that are demolishing this. Without a doubt. And they will get fuller and fatter as the days go on, and they will spend, like, you will see less and less spotties at the carcass. And as I mentioned, that really is when the brownies come in. So we'll keep following up on this. And lions are in the area. Oof, this evening they might appear. We are not on the sunset safari, but you never know what's going to happen. The vultures are aware, the pied crows are waiting. There's a line for this carcass. And again, I know it sounds obvious, but a huge carcass feeds so much. And that is the purpose. Death gives life in the wild. Even when there's nothing left and it's just bone, clean bone, in months to come, insects will burrow into the bone. It will still be utilized by so many living creatures. And although it's very sad that the giraffe has died, there's so much happening here. With every bite of the hyenas, nutrients are being unlocked and released into the soil. And there has been so many studies of areas where there has been a really large carcass, whether it's a bison or an elephant or a giraffe, and the plant life in the next couple of years will absolutely thrive. It will be so rich in nutrients. And that is the purpose of the carcasses out here in the wild. We're going to reposition a little bit because the sun is now on me, but we're going to send you guys back over to Andrew and Amakala.
Very well timed, very well done. So yeah, this elephant has just come through this very fine gap over here. So very, very well timed. We're just going to see what they're doing. They've pretty much all scattered out in this block over here. And we're going to wait right here and see where they're going to go. So we actually heard the young calf screaming earlier on. It almost sounded like a dinosaur in a way, screaming for its mom to stop so it could have a bit of a milk. The mom said, no, we are on a mission. We're going to keep moving. They are on a mission, it seems. They are feeding a little bit, but they're not stopping and feeding. They are moving and feeding along the route. So although they have had water, not even an hour ago or an hour and a half ago, I reckon they're after the water again, but at a different location. Very interesting, you know, trying to watch elephants in these dune thickets over here. Firstly, it's beautiful in here. It's a privilege to be in these dune thickets. And myself and Morgan, we absolutely love coming in here. But when we're viewing elephants through these gaps, it does make it a little bit tricky. All right, Morgan, shall we go a little bit forward there? Yeah, all right. So we're going to try wrap around, see if we can get them again for you. I think there's a gap ahead, but we'll just see. Oh, the sand is very fine on this road here. Sorry, I'm just in low range diff lock. Just want to go out. Could come out here. All right, Morgan, where should I park? Keep going. Okay. This is a good spot right here. Yeah, I can still swing. Okay. So the road is a little bit slanted here, forgive us. Is that good? Okay. There we go. This is a perfect little viewing spot here. Look at the little calf there, just socializing with that older one there. Oh, playing with its tusk, see that?
Towards the end of May, I'm going to be heading back to Djuma, which is one of my favourite places. Now, as many of you know, we need a little help keeping our operations going. For those of you who donate $100 or more, I'll take you on a private safari. It won't be entirely private, there may be 20 or so of you there, but you'll still be able to answer any questions that you might have. We'll visit all the places that you want to, and we'll look for all the characters that you'd like to see.
Oh, look at that little calf. It's now going down on the ground. Oh, shame. Shame. I think this calf is actually getting tired now. Shame. So we often see this with elephants, this allosuckling, which means that it's not only the mother that's going to give the milk, it's going to be the other individuals that are producing milk as well. Oh, a bit of dust bathing. Look at this, they're going into the road now. Oh, beautiful. Now you can just imagine with all these elephants, with all these big feet, can you imagine all the tracks they're going to leave on the road? Hello Marula, Shortcake. It's good to hear from you again. So at the moment, they're not terribly spread out. They were sort of, we presume, walking in a single file, which makes sense because the bush is thick here. So they get on these narrow paths and there's no choice really but to walk in a single file. So you're going to have some that are quite far ahead and then some that are quite far behind. But as we speak now, it looks like they've all sort of now reconnected in the group, if you will. So they're not terribly spread out now. Although there are going to be some bulls that are going to be trailing from the other side. Now, we have seen that Corley is very much in this group at the moment, and he is walking pretty much center with the group. Not in the group that you can see here, but within the whole sort of position of the herd. And those younger bulls that we saw earlier on, they're trailing quite far behind because, Corley, he wants to breed. And if these younger bulls come in here, he's going to chase them away and they're going to get a thrashing. So they want to avoid that. Look at this. This is just the best. It's something that I really enjoy about the directors that we work with, because the last time we showed you the elephants was like 40 minutes ago or close to an hour ago, and of course our directors, they want to go between the locations so that we can show off some of the animals and some of the scenery. But in a situation like this, they knew very well that we are trying very hard to relocate them, and they just let us be. They gave us the time we needed, and because of that, look what we have. Brilliant work. They're trying to fit in all these fine little gaps. This is truly an incredible experience. Even for ourselves, myself and Morgan, we do this daily pretty much for the most of the year. And we get exposed to this, and what an experience. And to get you involved as well is just priceless. But yeah, let us know about your experience, how you enjoying Wild Earth, and the best way that you can actually do that is through signing the Wild Earth survey, which is going around at the moment. And if you'd like to know more about that, please go into the website, and you can just type in there just wildearth.tv/survey. And that'll help us to understand how your viewing experience is, if you have suggestions and things like that as well. And then we can better it. Mark, good morning. We're heading towards afternoon. It's already afternoon now. So good afternoon, Mark. Mark, I haven't seen them mating while live. No, I haven't seen that. That would be something to get you all involved in. I think in my life I've only seen it maybe 5 or 6 times. I'm sure Morgan has seen it a bit more. But it's not a very common thing to see. You have to be at the right place at the right time with the right throughput and signal. So there's a lot of variables in play here, but I can promise you, the minute we can get that and show you all, we're always keen to do it, and that's why we're out here. As being a guide, we are designed or wired to show people animal. That's our passions, is to show people animals. We don't want to hide anything. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to try and just go a little bit forward, see what it's like, but if it is anything like this, hopefully it'll still be good. Okay, the road is a little bit shouldered here. Right, what do you think, Morgan? Is that good? There we go. That's what the best we can do for now. Shame, these elephants have... Yeah, you guys can hear all of these elephants feeding on the side here, but they are hungry now. Okay, we've got a bit more movement here. They're just about to cross the road. Look at this. Whew. Wow, that was cool. I'm sure you saw that. The elephant found something quite small on the ground to feed on, but really wanted it, and kicked it out so it can separate the roots. Yeah, they are heading towards Bush Lodge as we speak. Yeah, they definitely do. You know, some of the lodges do have watering holes in front of the lodge. And it's not so that they could attract, elephants to come to the lodge. That's not why they put these watering holes in front of the lodges. The reason they did it was, it's a bit of a sort of ambience in a way. It creates a beautiful setting for guests who are at the lodges, and they can watch some water birds and maybe see some fish and antelopes coming down to drink. But now, with water being so scarce on Amakhala and the whole of the Eastern Cape, massive water restrictions at the moment. Because of that, that's the only real place they can drink. And so a lot of these lodges are seeing a lot more of these elephants. But when I was here, when the river was still half full, the elephants seldomly went to the lodges because they just didn't need to. And for them to go to some of these lodges, it's not an easy trek. Because if we think about, say these elephants were in one of the valleys, for them to go all the way to Heel's Neck, I mean, it's not that far for an elephant, but it's still distance to go. Back in the day with the river, I mean, these elephants would almost indefinitely be in the basin because of the amounts of water in the river. And they could do all of those favorite things that they love doing, like swimming and bathing. But as I say, because it's so dry, a lot of the lodges are having really cool sightings of elephants coming into the lodge to drink. A lot of you might think, how safe is that? Is that not dangerous, taking risks? What we have noticed about elephants is that they are so smart, smarter than what we will ever give them credit for. And I think there's a lot more to elephants than what we understand. But with that aside, elephants, when they go into the lodges, they know exactly where they're going. They know they're going into a people area, and they don't go in there looking for trouble. They go in very humbly, and that's what I've always respected about them. A lot of these lodges now will, on check-in, when you check into the lodges, they will probably have to include in their brief that yes, there might be elephants coming into the camp. There are some of the camps that don't have fences, so the elephants can come right into the heart of the camp. And the trick is, not to walk up to them. Don't try and threaten them. And, just a simple action of you walking up to take a photograph closer, you're approaching their private space, and they really become sensitive to that. But if they're approaching your private space, they're generally quite content. They're not in an aggressive state. They can change their mind at any time. Now, it's quite interesting. One of the lodges out here, it's at Bukela. It's one of the 5-star lodges right on top of the hill in the eastern, sort of southeastern part of the reserve. But they're totally unfenced, the camp. And so elephants do sometimes go roaming in there. And because of it, sometimes they go in there at night. And now you try to see elephants in a bushy area during the day, it's already a challenge. But now at night, they can really just not be seen and not be available to be seen because of all the bushes. And so because of that, one of the guides will usually stay behind after game drive so that he can just wander around the camp, see if there's any animals coming in, and then also take the guests that have already eaten dinner and would like an escort back to their room, and they head back to their rooms. You know, Ralph just touched base a little bit on it yesterday, but talking about how elephants think and get really deep in thought. Nomzamo, you enjoyed watching the little one. We also enjoy them. You should see the smiles on me and Morgan's face when we see the young one. The young one really, I mean, it's very entertaining to watch them because they are very clumsy and they try and do things that the adults are doing constantly. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to watch them and to be able to be, to see them and to watch them grow up over a period of time. It's the best. It's like watching a child grow up. Some of the fondest memories I have of elephant sightings and just the interactions I've had with elephants is here in Amakhala Game Reserve. The elephants out here, there's just something about them. All elephants are special, please don't get me wrong, but the sightings we have out here are just phenomenal. But there's so much going on with elephants and they're constantly thinking. Most of the time we don't know that they're thinking, but every now and then they do show signs that they are. And they stop in the middle of the road sometimes and they're not quite sure which way to go, whether they want to take this game path or that game path. Or if they're feeding and they're looking around the environment and they're looking at the plants, what do I feel like eating now? What do I feel like snacking on now? And you see this, and they lift their front leg and they sway it, and then suddenly they make up their mind and off they go, tup, tup, to that bush or to that game trail. It's always lovely to watch that. I'm just going to see if maybe they come through these gaps again. Seems like they're on the move again. Afternoon, Maxine. I think it's got to do with the level of socializing within, you know, the structure of a group. So like, for example, elephants being a very closely knit group of individuals. It's a family unit, and they are very well connected and very well socialized. And I think allo grooming and allo suckling and things like that, it really does strengthen bonds that they have with one another. Remember, I always say that nature doesn't do things for no reason. And so I reckon it's part of their social bonding, because they're all connected at the end of it. They're incredible animals. Sometimes if you watch dolphins in the ocean, or if you watch whales for that matter, you see how well socialized they are. Just listening to a Karoo Prinia having a good old time calling behind us here. Now they're actually on both sides of the road at the moment. Some of them have gone deep in and they're off, and others they still need to cross, but it seems like they're on the other side of the thicket. Harry, my favorite bird call in Amakhala would probably be, there's a few. Bar-throated apellis is one. This cluck, 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 cluck sound that they make. I love that sound. I also enjoy the Knysna woodpecker, especially when it screams. It literally sounds like it's saying, or it's screaming. You just hear this quack in the bush. I also like barn owls. And we actually had one on our roof last night, busy screaming on the top of its lungs. That's quite a raucous screech. Morgan was fast asleep. He didn't hear it, but my eyes were wide awake as soon as I heard it. The white-browed scrub robin. I'm actually just hearing one now. I also enjoy that sound very much. I'm still yet to hear a secretary bird make their territorial call, which is a crazy sound. Sounds like a monster making a call. Brown-hooded kingfishers, they've also got a beautiful call. In the black-collared barbets. Black-collared, yeah?
Are you just naming all the birds now?
No, the birds that I enjoy here calling. So as Morgan pointed out, there's so many different bird calls that I enjoy. Morgan, what's your favorite bird to be heard?
Definitely hardy-dar.
You enjoy a hardy-dar? Okay. Yeah, that's your bird, eh?
It's our birthday. Join us in celebrating our sweet 16th on the 27th of April. We will be playing our top 16 moments that we've shared together on Wild Earth, as well as all of your birthday messages on channel for the big day.
And a big thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wild Earth.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Tune in and get ready to blow out the candle with us. It's Wild Earth's sweetest birthday bash yet.
Just wondering where that big bull is now, because we did see him not far behind one of the females, and now we haven't seen him at all. But yeah, we're gonna just drive around. I think let's go to Ukukuyo in the meanwhile and see what's happening on that side.
Thank you, Andrew. Seems like there's been lots of activity with those elephants. I do miss being around them. However, I am sitting at the Okukuyu waterhole in the Etosha National Park in Namibia. So not a bad place to be, I would have to say. And we've had lots of animals. It has thinned out a little bit now. There was a lot of blue wildebeest. There were some oryx. There's still a couple around, but they have mostly walked off. But it does come in ebbs and flows here. And it's just been lovely watching as the ebbs and flows have been going down. It's always busy, I find here. It does quieten down sometimes, but it's never long before something else comes in. And while we're sitting here, just looking at these beautiful colors, there's hardly any clouds in the sky. There's one or two there in the background. But this is what I've always been talking about, the real contrasts that you get in the desert in particular. Obviously now a little bit later on in the day, so heading towards midday, the contrasts are not as sharp. But even now, it's still, you get these oranges, yellows, browns, blacks, whites, and then the reflection of the blue sky on the water, and it just makes for extreme differences and wonderful photography, etc. But speaking about contrasts and colors, I often get asked about guests or asked by guests about colors, in particular on animals, whether it be reptiles, birds, mammals, etc., and what is the purpose thereof. Now, if we look at where different humans live on the globe, and going on a very simplistic level, it does make sense for where there's a lot hotter environments to have a darker skin, and where it's a lot colder to have a lighter skin, sort of absorption or reflective capabilities. But I think it does go a little bit further than that, especially when we start looking at wildlife and the mammals and reptiles, etc. We then talk about the black paradox, particularly so within a desert environment. And when it comes to the coloration of certain desert animals, there doesn't seem to be any logic. And it appears that objects that are black should absorb more heat than white objects, and under certain conditions they do. But black coloration is remarkably conspicuous in a lot of common southern African desert dwellers, such as tenebrionid beetles, or the Formula One beetles as we call them, tok-tokkies, crows, black korans, male ostriches. So could it be that these animals may enjoy certain thermal advantages that we may not have thought about? There's no clear-cut answer. Absorption of heat, its penetration of an animal's pelage and skin, and its reflectivity off a surface are influenced not only by color, but also by the wavelength of the radiation concerned, and very importantly, by the speed of the wind an animal experiences. Color is important only in the absorption of direct shortwave and visible radiation from the sun. Black surfaces do not reflect visible light as white surfaces do. They absorb it. Temperatures of 84 degrees Celsius have been measured on the feather surfaces of black ravens, for example. But this absorption occurs only when the wind is blowing at less than 10 kilometers per hour, which is a common wind speed in the deserts of southern Africa. At a higher speed, black surfaces absorb no more heat than do white surfaces. This is probably where the secret lies. Black-colored animals can warm up more quickly in the mornings before the wind starts to blow. There's certainly definite advantages to a rapid warm-up. Not only can insects and reptiles maximize their daily foraging time, but they can also minimize the time period in the early mornings when they are sluggish and at the mercy of predators. So at the end of the day, when the wind dies down, they may once more be able to absorb the direct heat rapidly and thus extend the late afternoon activity time. So the significance of black coloring in birds is not explained by the Siri as they maintain their own body temperature. However, it's been suggested that they may save thermoregulatory energy in winter because they're better able to absorb heat, especially on cold mornings. So it's always interesting to talk about different evolutionary traits, and a nice way for us to end off the show, leaving you to ponder what is it better to be, especially out in hot environments, cold environments, but it's all down to your evolutionary traits. Folks, thanks for watching. It's been a wonderful day. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name's Ralph Kirsten. Bye for now.